coming up on BCN today. A 25-year-old man is dismissed of manslaughter charges in a Lethbridge court. Plus, are your shots up to date? 11 new cases of whooping cough now confirmed this week in Lethbridge and Raymond. And Lethbridge federal candidates answer questions at an all-candidates forum, attempting to garner support for their parties.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. A Lethbridge judge says Rylan Twigs' confession to Lethbridge police was inadmissible in connection with the 2017 death of Kenrick First Rider. Manslaughter charges against the 25-year-old have now been dropped because Justice Joanna Kubik said Twigs' video confession was involuntary. She described the young man as being vulnerable and gullible, and that he didn't understand that what he said to police would be used against him. It was also noted that Twig suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome and other cognitive deficits. Alberta Health Services warns that there has been an increase in the number of whooping cough cases in the area, and health officials are reminding everyone to make sure they're vaccinated against pertussis. In the past week, AHS has confirmed 11 new cases of whooping cough in Lethbridge and Raymond, and 38 cases in the South Zone this year. Last year, there were 58 cases reported in total. Whooping cough is an upper respiratory illness that's very contagious, so it's important to have your immunizations up to date. Corus Entertainment is investing in the future of Canadian journalism with a $52,000 gift to Lethbridge College. The gift, which was announced earlier this week at the college, will support the creation of a state-of-the-art active learning newsroom, as well as create new awards that will financially support students in the digital communications and media program. The first two community peace officer vehicles have their new decals. They're outfitted with gear and are ready to hit the streets this week. If you're in Lethbridge and you see one, you might want to take a second look.
We have two vehicles for the CPOs. One of these you can see here is the Dodge truck, and then we will have a Subaru Forester coming to us shortly. I don't know exactly when, but it will be here. They are fully kitted out, and with these vehicles, our CPOs they do have the same authorities under the Traffic Safety Act and many different provincial statutes. So drivers and those that they stop will have the same obligations to provide registration, insurance, the documents as requested by a community peace officer at that time. So I will be actually putting out a schedule for all our CPOs so we're not fighting like little kids to get the vehicle. So.
Community peace officers are sworn officers with limited authority to enforce parts of the Criminal Code and city bylaws. That includes the Traffic Safety Act. A woman accused of trying to send a puppy and a kitten in the mail last spring entered a not guilty plea in Lethbridge Court on Tuesday. 53-year-old Jill Marshall is charged with causing an animal to be in distress after she tried to mail the two small animals by leaving them in a cardboard box at a post office in Milo. It's reported that the animals had stamps on them. The case will go to trial May 28. A Calgary man convicted of strangling his wife in 2012 and burying her body in a cement wall in the basement is going back to prison. Alan Shabak was sentenced to 10 years for the murder of his wife, Lisa Mitchell. The Parole Board of Canada revoked the day parole, which Alan Shabak was granted in February, saying he was being deceitful in some of his answers at a hearing for full parole. The board said Shabak had violated some terms of his day parole earlier this year, including going on Tinder and having a relationship with a sex worker at a massage parlor. The victim's mother, Peggy Mitchell, gave an impassioned plea to the parole board to reject full parole, calling Shabak a liar and a murderer.
The message I wanted to get across today in my statement is that Al is a liar. He continues to lie. We believe he's a player. He's playing the game so he can get out. I have known him going on probably 20 years. and this is who he's always been. And I'm just glad today somebody saw a little bit of that rather than what he's trying to project.
With the federal election in less than 2 weeks, many are still trying to learn everything they can about their local candidates. Bridge City News had a chance to ask some of the Lethbridge candidates questions at an all-candidates forum this week. Questions about the issues that have a big impact for many. Ainsley O'Reilly was there and files this report.
About 200 people filled the Yates Theater for an all-candidates forum. Bridge City News' very own Hal Roberts took part in a media panel that was able to ask questions to all of the candidates. Each party representative had a minute to answer. With a wide range of topics being fired at them, candidates tried to stick to their core principles.
When I'm doing that, when I'm at the doors, some of the things that I'm hearing have to do with overall affordability. It has to do with following the rule of law. It has to do with the integrity of the leader. It has to do with a grand vision for our country and propelling us forward on the world stage and drawing economic investment into our country in order to make sure that we stay strong.
And I come back to Lethbridge. I think about what is going to affect us here in Lethbridge. What is the impact that we need here felt from our federal government? We need so much funding for opioid crisis resolution.
So happy that we had a chance to talk about creating a real nation-to-nation relationship with the Indigenous peoples in our area. It's so important that we respect our treaties.
Online questions were submitted, and people were encouraged to ask questions in person. One man was really passionate about the NDP's proposed wealth tax for those who earn $20 million annually.
Well, what's to say that the next group that they decide they want to tax a second time happens to be a group I fall into? What happens if they decide they want to tax the handicapped a second time, so I have to pay on after-tax dollars again? What happens if they decide they want to tax me because what I did? What happens if they want to tax me again on my after-tax dollars because I'm single?
It was not touched on in the forum, but Stephanie Watson of the Green Party was asked afterwards about why her party wants to legalize sex work.
And it also allows us to be able to deal with the traffickers who traffic people for this thing. But there's also a lot of people who want to do sex work and be paid for it. And it actually, there's a large movement, especially within the disability community, where that physical connection with another person is so important to mental health.
For Bridge City News, I'm Ainsley O'Reilly.
Thank you, Ainsley. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau says he was happy with the leaders' debate this week, which focused on so much on climate change. PPC leader Maxime Bernier also discussed its importance.
We were pleased to contrast our approach and our approach on fighting climate change and our platform with all the leaders on stage. I think it's important for Canadians to be able to make a choice. And once again, I was very, very happy that so much of this debate throughout all the themes was actually on climate change and our approaches on fighting it. I just also need to highlight that Mr. Singh has been very clear on repeated occasions that part of the NDP's approach is to increase refinery capacity in Canada. He said it many times, and I think people need to understand that there are many different approaches on climate change, and of all the different approaches, there is only one plan that has been determined by a number of experts to be both ambitious and doable. And that is the plan that we've put in place over the past 4 years and are going to continue doing even more on.
It is too important for the future of this country. So I want to impose Canadians on climate change. I want to impose costly regulation on Canadians. And as you know, the environment is a shared jurisdiction. So provinces can have policy on climate change. But like I said in the debate, we must have concrete actions for the environment.
During a campaign stop this morning in Markham, Ontario, Justin Trudeau talked about how a re-elected Liberal government would put more money in Canadians' pockets. Trudeau promised to lower taxes once again for the middle class, saying it would be his first priority. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is expected to talk about immigration during a stop at a road in Quebec where nearly 50,000 irregular migrants have crossed into the country in the past 2 years. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is campaigning in Montreal today. With the Alberta legislature back in session, Alberta's provincial politicians are sniping at each other over the economy. Premier Jason Kenney is accusing the former NDP government of economic incompetence, and NDP leader Rachel Notley says Kenney's plan to cut corporate taxes will only benefit wealthy companies. Notley says consumer spending and job creation numbers are flat or going backward, and that the upcoming budget will force ordinary Albertans to pay for it in higher fees and cuts to education and healthcare. Much of southwestern Alberta has had to deal with snow over the past week or so. Before hitting the road, we have been told time and time again to winterize our vehicles. Sergeant Glenn Henry of the Coaldale RCMP says that means putting on winter tires in time for extreme weather conditions. But if you're unable to escape the unexpected conditions and end up in a ditch, the RCMP has a list of suggested items to keep in your vehicle in case this happens to you.
Carry good winter clothing with them. Make sure they have boots, make sure they have proper jackets, that type of stuff. But also you can prepare your vehicle with things like candles, emergency food, rations, some type of signal light, flashlight, anything that will get you through the night. If you have a cell phone, means of recharging a cell phone, if you have spare batteries for your flashlight, those type of things.
Transport Canada has also winter tips for us, and that is to avoid using cruise control during slippery weather conditions. Chinook Regional Hospital began offering midwifery services this week. Those services will include prenatal care and birthing support, with the addition of 5 new midwives at the hospital to the hospital staff.
Midwives have admitting privileges at Chinook Regional Hospital. We've been working really collaboratively with the team here for almost the last year to try to get midwives into the facility, and we're really excited. It's been a really great collaboration. Midwives can do home births or hospital births. We do basically 50-50 of our births in home or in hospital, and so now we're excited that women can have a choice here in Lethbridge to either have a baby in the home or in the hospital.
The changes were in response to a 50% increase across the province in the number of families using midwives during their pregnancies and births. Alberta Health Services says a computer hard drive containing patient information has been missing since August. It disappeared from an Edmonton hospital. The hard drive, taken from a cardiac outpatient lab at the Mazankowski Alberta Heart Institute, contained detailed health information about 650 patients. The health agency says the drive was not encrypted and did not have password protection. AHS says this could be linked to an earlier theft at the lab over the August long weekend. The drive was not discovered until a few weeks later. A lawsuit involving CN Rail and a man who was killed in his wheelchair have been resolved. The courts heard that in July of 2016, Stephen Harrell was using his wheelchair in a safe manner when it became stuck and immobilized at a railway crossing in Moncton, New Brunswick. He was unable to free himself before he was struck and killed by a train. His parents sued CN Rail, the city of Moncton, and the wheelchair manufacturer for damages related to his death. Diane and Yvonne Harrell say that while they are devastated by the tragedy, they're pleased that the work is being done to prevent future tragedies at railway crossings.
We're here today to announce that the action against Canadian National Railway and the City of Moncton has been resolved. We are pleased to see that the remediation of railway crossings has taken place and continues to take place in Moncton and other communities across the country. While we are all devastated by this tragedy, we would like to thank both the federal government for its initiative and the participating rail line users and municipalities for taking advantage of the funding allowing these works to take place.
South of the border, U.S. President Donald Trump is defending his decision to pull troops from northern Syria, saying that he's keeping a campaign promise to withdraw from the endless war in the region. It's a move that has Syrian Kurds accusing the U.S. of turning its back on its allies and risking gains made in the fight against the Islamic State. Trump's move clears the way for an expected Turkish assault.
Well, we've been in Syria for a long time, and it was supposed to be a very short hit, and a hit on ISIS, but it didn't work out that way. They never left, and they've been there for many, many years. And we were down to very few soldiers in Syria. We had 50 in the region that you're talking about, 50 soldiers, and they've been already moved out.
Our foreign affairs expert Lisa Daftari says when it comes to Syria, the Kurds just want to have their own state.
The only thing the Kurds ever wanted was to fight and help defend, radicalism, and to have their own, state, and something that they deserve, and something that the U.S., Israel, our allies have always supported for the Kurds. So to now turn our backs on the Kurds, we know exactly why Turkey would ever want to get involved in Syria. The only reason they'd want to get involved is to further their own agenda, and that's to diminish the Kurds.
Later in the show, Lisa will also discuss how the Pentagon was blindsided by Trump pulling back troops from northern Syria ahead of a Turkish assault. We're looking at a 60% chance of flurries today, but the good news, it won't stick around for long. I'll have all of the weather details coming up right after the break. Welcome back. Here's your weather highlights for Lethbridge. Today and tomorrow, 60% chance of flurries today with a high of -3, going down to -15 overnight. But tomorrow, look at that, lots of sunshine, and we're finally back up in the plus temperatures again with a high of +3 tomorrow, going down to -7 overnight. For the 5-day forecast, we got lots of sunshine coming up, thank goodness. So +9 on Friday with sunshine through the weekend. Saturday +13. Sunday, high of 10, and on Turkey Day, Monday, we got a little bit of cloud coverage coming in, but, clouds and sun, high of 7, high of 11 for Tuesday with sunshine again back in the forecast. The almanac says that the high temperature this time of year should be around 16 degrees. The average low is 2 degrees, but look at this, the highest temperature on this day back in 1943, 27 degrees. Wouldn't that be nice? -10 was the low for this day back in 1985. Not too bad, I don't think. The sun rose this morning at 7:43, and it will set tonight just before 7 p.m. So we're getting into the 6 o'clock hour for those sunsets already. Victoria, high of 13 with lots of sunshine. Lots of sunshine also in Vancouver, high of 10. Edmonton, we got a chance of flurries up there with a high of +2. And a high of -1 in Calgary with also a chance of short flurries over there. Saskatoon, mix of sun and cloud, +2 up there. Regina, we got some flurries happening there as well, -1. And some showers, it looks like, in Winnipeg with a high of +7. So a little bit of weather all over the place for those prairies. Over in the east, look at this, all this sunshine. Toronto, you're sitting at 18 degrees. Ottawa, 17, and a high of 17 also in Montreal. Sunshine all the way around on the east. Wouldn't it be nice to be over there? Nice change from what we've seen too. Fredericton, sunshine as well with a high of 15. Lots of sunshine in the forecast as well for Charlottetown with a high of 14 degrees. Halifax, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 17 and a high of 13 up in St. John's, Newfoundland. Lots of sunshine there as well. So enjoy your day over there on the East Coast. That was your weather. Community calendar is coming up next.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. Come out and support a worthy cause. The Blue Rain Ranch Animal Assisted Therapy Foundation Benefit Dinner and Auction is taking place on Saturday, October 19th at the Community Hall in Fort Macleod, with cocktails being served at 5:30 p.m. and dinner beginning at 6. Come dressed in your best Western wear and enjoy live music by Duo Grand Fiddle and Guitar. All proceeds to support access for low-income trauma and abuse victims to counseling and animal-assisted therapy. For tickets, call 403-894-9160, and for event details, visit bridgesofhope.com. The Galt Museum and Archives is hosting a Halloween Spooktacular on Saturday, October 26th from 1 to 4 p.m. Come for a family-friendly afternoon where you can play games, decorate a pumpkin, make a trick-or-treat bag, and other fun crafts. Plus, go on a tour of the building, hear spooky ghost stories, and enjoy free popcorn and caramel apple slices. Admission is free. For details, visit galtmuseum.com. The City of Lethbridge's residential fall leaf collection program is underway from now to November 15th. Residents can call 311 Monday to Friday between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. to arrange for pickup. Leaves must be put in paper yard waste bags and placed in the area where garbage is normally collected. Paper yard waste bags are available for purchase at retail stores throughout Lethbridge. For more information about the residential fall leaf collection program, visit lethbridge.ca or call 311. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Sometimes the wording of titles can be extremely important. That's what today's daily life hack is all about. Seeking dietary advice? Well, you should see a dietitian, not a nutritionist. The term dietitian is legally protected. Anyone can advertise themselves as a nutritionist regardless of education or credentials. And that's your daily life hack. Interesting stuff. Well, they're fun, they're furry, and they're always happy to see you. Pets make life so much more fun, and if you're looking to add a fur baby to your list of family members, then you need to check out BCN's pet feature.
Hello everyone, it's Officer Sherry. I'm here with Tyrion today. At Lethbridge Animal Services, we are looking for his forever home. This big guy is a Pyrenees Collie cross that is about 2 years old and was found as a stray within the city of Lethbridge. Fortunately, no one came forward for him, and he is looking for his forever home. He definitely needs to go to a home that is able to give him a lot of exercise and keep up with him. He does have a lot of pent-up energy. So if you're looking to adopt a new dog, make sure to come on down to Lethbridge Animal Services. And for more pets, make sure to look us up on Facebook at Lethbridge Animal Services.
What a cutie. Something tells me he's not going to be around the animal shelter for much longer. Well, this is Clergy Appreciation Month. Harold Cooper is the pastor from Central Church of Christ in Lethbridge. BCN's Hal Roberts recently asked Pastor Cooper what we should do if we see our pastor burning out.
Go to the leadership in your church and pose the question, how is Coop doing? Have you noticed anything? Like, I've noticed some things. I was just wondering about them. Is that something that the leadership has been working with him or her to sort of work through? Because I just noticed he hasn't quite seemed to be himself.
Catch that full interview with Pastor Harold Cooper coming up on the second half of our show. Stay with us.